One, two.
Welcome! Ho, 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 ho,
Ho, ho, ho, ho. Welcome to the holiday edition of the Video and Vinyl Club.
Hi, welcome to the Video and Vinyl Club. I'm Emmy Wildwood. I'm a musician, an artist, and a producer, and an art director.
Yes, and I am Erin Mars. I am a writer, a director, a musician, an actor, an imaginative maker.
You're feeling inventive today.
I'm feeling so inventive.
Me too. I must say, I'm glad you're sitting in front of your fireplace with the stockings all hanging and a bustling fire roaring.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes. Because if you're listening to this on the day that we released it, it is Christmas Eve.
That's right.
And so today we are going to be talking about holiday films.
Yay! Erin and I are going to be talking about our top 5 holiday films each.
We're going to start from number 5 and work down. Oh, you know what I was thinking about actually as we were talking about holiday films and all this stuff? I have a holiday album. I forgot.
You have your own holiday album?
With my old band, Tra La La. So for any
Wow.
musicians who are looking for inspiration and or ways that you can get funding by having songs you can license for commercials during the holidays, you take your basic instrumental tracks that you previously recorded for your album, you rewrite the lyrics for a song you already have, and then you reissue it as a holiday album. So
Brilliant.
that's what Tra La La did. So we had a song called Everybody's Doing Fine, oh yeah. We changed that to Everybody Christmas Time, oh yeah. And that was in a T-Mobile commercial. Thank you, T-Mobile, for the thousands of dollars that we received from that commercial. Pro tip.
Now that I'm thinking about it, Guns N' Hoses put out a Christmas song written by Erin.
That's right. So Guns N' Hoses, if people are familiar with us, and Emmy and I have been, that's how we met initially. It's an all-girl Guns N' Roses tribute band. What ended up happening is we said, hey, why don't we start an original band? And that band's called Leather Tuscadero. Yeah. We never fully got it off the ground. Who knows? The future's wide open, folks. Could happen.
But we launched a full song though. It's on the Bandcamp.
Yeah, we launched. Yep, we've got a Bandcamp song on there. The proceeds went to the Ali Forney Foundation, which helps people, teenagers specifically, or kids in the LGBTQ plus community who maybe have left their home, who are looking for a new place to live, or who are transitioning to a different type of lifestyle. It's a great organization. So proceeds from sales of that song went to them.
I actually remember being like, now, if I'm ever going to put out a Christmas song in my life, this is one I could stand behind, because it kind of doesn't, it's not like fluffy, you know what I mean? It's more
it's called Another Year Over.
That's what it is. So it's like
it's called
rich.
Another Year Over.
Yeah, it's not like Ho 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 or Santa Claus, which is fine and has its place, but I'm not sure it has its place with Guns N' Hoses. So I was glad that you did something kind of like poetic and a little bit more
the chorus
abstract.
Is, it's another year over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It has a bit of a doo-wop, kind of 50s rockabilly vibe happening too.
Yeah. So we'll put the link of that up somewhere. So if you guys are interested, you can purchase the song, and we will still give the proceeds to the Ali Forney Foundation. So
I love it.
Support how you can.
Yes.
Anyway, let's just dive in. Emmy, do you want to go first on your number 5, or do you want me to? And I think how we do this is you give us clues, and then I'll try to guess what your film is.
A human being is mistakenly usurped by the elf community when his parent leaves him at a doorstep.
Elf.
So it's
Elf. That was Elf.
Yes, that was
Elf.
Elf.
Okay, Elf. All right.
So Elf is directed by the very famous Jon Favreau, a comedy genius, starring Will Ferrell, Zoe Deschanel, James Caan, Bob Newhart, and Ed Asner. Elf is a heartwarming and hilarious Christmas comedy about Buddy, who is basically a human raised by elves at the North Pole. And he embarks on a journey to New York City to look for his father, who like it's really sweet. He looks for his father who's like doesn't know that he had impregnated his mother. And so he doesn't know that he exists. And this is some magical realism here. We have to
Yep.
sort of force ourselves to accept that the North Pole exists, and we're watching Will Ferrell, or Buddy, the human elf's father, grapple with accepting that himself, that the North Pole exists.
Yes. And it's
So,
charming, and it's full of like wonderful
one-liners.
Yeah, very, very funny one-liners.
Yeah.
So I love that that's your number 5.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me more.
I just want to say that a very important line in that movie that stays with me and I will never forget is, "You're not Santa Claus. You sit on a throne of lies. You smell like beef and cheese, not sugar plums."
And there you go.
You smell like beef and cheese.
You smell like beef and cheese. You're not Santa Claus. Elf is a fun one. Yes.
Yeah, it's good
Elf
for
is not on my list. So
good.
It's cute.
You
It's a
might
fun one.
really LOL for that. So
Very true.
okay, do me.
Okay, so it's my turn.
Okay.
It's a dark comedy. It's a retelling of the Charles Dickens Christmas Carol.
I have
Do you
no
need
idea.
more?
Yeah.
It stars Bill Murray.
Oh, I don't know. Give me one more and then I give up.
He's a cynical executive, and he becomes visited by 3 ghosts.
Oh,
Scrooged!
Scrooged. Yeah, Scrooged with an ED at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So
I haven't thought about that one in a while.
Scrooged is by far one of my favorite all-time Christmas movies. It is so funny. I know Bill Murray's been canceled a million times, but this film is absolutely hilarious. And the line that's forever stuck with me, the television network that Bill Murray is the top executive for is putting on a live performance of A Christmas Carol. And so he's on set and somebody walks by and they're trying to get these like little antlers on mice. And the guy's like, I've tried glue. I've tried this. Like, they just keep falling off. And he goes, have you tried staples? And it's like, oh man.
Dark.
And it's just, it's dark, but it's so funny. It's so funny. And
what year did that come out?
1988.
Oh, what? 88?
I know. So if you're somebody who like leaves the TV on and just watches random Christmas movies, that's usually one of the ones that's on the rotation. So that's my number 5. Okay, let's hit number 4. Or do you have a comment about Scrooged?
The only comment I want to make is that I have a theory about Bill Murray being canceled.
Okay.
I think everything he gets canceled for is a bit he's doing, and he's seeing if he can get canceled because that's his whole. He's like Andy Kaufman. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
He's a comedic genius. I don't know.
He definitely has something that, for the timing of the generation of comics that he was a part of, he has somehow maintained like that level of people feeling like he's cool. It's Bill Murray, man. Which I don't know if all those guys, many of them were not able to do.
Okay.
So do your number 4.
A child is accidentally left home on Christmas Eve when his family.
Home Alone. Home Alone.
Wait, I wanted to give one more clue so bad. Can I give it
Okay.
anyways?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great.
Yes,
Hold on one
yes.
second. You have
Yeah.
to look at me.
Yeah. And that's a throwback to the famous houses. The house from episode
I
that we talked about with
know.
Lee. They talked about the Home Alone house.
It's all coming full
Classic.
circle. Yeah, go check out our episode with Lee Leshin about
Mhm.
the houses from famous movies called The House From. Okay, yeah.
So Home
So
Alone.
here's what's great about Home Alone. Macaulay Culkin's so cute. And the best thing about it is he went through all these like phases in his life. Like he got angry, did drugs, he got a little weird there for a moment, and he grew out of it. And now he has such a good attitude about it. He's always doing specials on TV, making jokes. Like it's so cute. And I, I just think that's such a cool attitude to have because like we all do things when we're young. And I mean, he didn't have a whole lot of choice in that probably. He was a very little kid, but we all do things that when we're younger that we're like maybe not like our favorite thing to know is out in the world, but you know, you just have to have a good attitude about it because we all grow. And when you're in the entertainment industry, it's like that's all part of it. So
Oh my gosh. Yes.
anyways, also Catherine O'Hara is in this movie, and she is just like one of my favorite geniuses. We can connect her to our Beetlejuice episode.
Yes.
Um, she's really great in this movie. I love her so much. And Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci.
Yeah, he's so funny in it, and he plays such a good little quirky bad guy. And this is a movie that's like chock full of physical comedy and like, you know, action scenes and funny little bits. And
Yeah.
it's
And I have to say, as like a kid watching that movie and the
yeah.
stunts that happen where Macaulay Culkin is home by himself and these guys are coming to rob the house and the stuff he does with like the paint can and just all this like funny kinds of tricks and pranks and um it's just hilarious because as a kid you're like, "Oh my gosh," you think that stuff you could actually pull off. And when
Yeah.
you were talking about Macaulay Culkin and like the way his career has gone and he I think there's like this really funny SNL bit where he's in a cab and he's like talking to, or he like gets his call from his mom. He's like, "No way, I'm talking to her." And the cab driver's like, "You're not going to talk to your mom on Christmas?" And he's like, "You don't know what she put me through." And then he like goes through the story of Home Alone and like how traumatized he is and all that stuff.
That's really funny.
So funny because gosh, that is a wild movie. Just the premise of your parents have left with
Yeah.
the millions of kids and you're just there and
Yeah.
nobody notices. Cuckoo.
Home Alone 2 is not on my list, but let me just give it a quick shout out. The scene from Home Alone 2 where
Home Alone
he's
2, Lost in New York. Okay,
yeah.
keep going.
So I love New York. You know, I'm a New Yorker through and through. So is Erin. And anyways, we in Home Alone 2, he gets separated from his parents in New York while they go to Paris. And anyways, he's so smart and so savvy that he finds his way into the Plaza Hotel and gives himself like a 5-star vacation in New York City, staying at the Plaza Hotel. And the scene where he orders all the room service, like as a kid, I was like, that's so dope. That's like so rad. I wish I could do that. Like, wow, so
Yeah.
fun. Anyways, okay, that's
So
it.
funny, dude.
Okay, so now
he lived like every kid's fantasy life in a sense. Okay, here's my
wait,
number 4. Whoa,
wait.
wait, tell me.
I can't even think of what Home Alone 3 is about.
I don't know.
Yeah, all right. So we skip it. Anyways, okay, let's guess your number 4. Hook me up with those
Okay.
hook me up with those clues.
Okay. Written by John Hughes. Stars Chevy Chase as
Oh,
Clark Griswold.
right. The Griswold's Christmas, whatever. Christmas.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
I'm really bad at this.
So again, this is a film. Okay, it's from 1989. Now I feel like all of my films are like old, but whatever. I might have given you a clue. Okay. Or for your other guesses. It doesn't matter. This film I feel like a lot of the National Lampoon's films are so funny because Chevy Chase, and that's somebody who's, age equivalent with a Bill Murray, but he ended up not, people don't think of him as being as cool. He got more of like a mean guy vibe, but whatever.
Yeah, it's like these salty comedians, basically.
Salty, so salty. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do really find Chevy Chase very, very funny. I really think he's very funny. And all of the National Lampoon's films, I mean, these are not films that have aged well. Let me just also say that. And the same with Scrooged. There are moments in Scrooged, you're like, there's no way that would be okay in a film today. Same thing with National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. No way. Like there's fantasy scenes, with girls who are scantily clad. There's like just stuff that's not, I don't know, like maybe you would see some of these things, but there's also like a little bit of off-color jokes that you're like, oh, that didn't necessarily age well. Like,
like Chevy Chase is a smug little pecker. He really is.
I mean, he's
a little stinker. Yeah.
But all of that to be said, there's just classic bits in that movie that every Christmas movie, so many parodies are about. When he's got all the lights on the house and he's trying to plug it in and he does all these things to like make it to work.
Yes.
To the cat being in the Christmas tree and the tree catching on fire and the cat getting electrocuted, to the grandmother who's kind of losing her mind, with the great aunt who's like wrapped up Jello or whatever she did. Just so many things that I think like holiday families, everyone has family dynamics that are sometimes nuts.
Yes.
You can kind of relate to like, yeah, I've got a crazy cousin or an uncle or aunt or brother or sister. Like you really can see it and you really can laugh. And so for that, that's my number 4 film. Again, another one that I could put that on and just wrap presents. It's like easy.
That's good. It's nice to have these. It's nice to have these little like the lighter ones. You know what I mean? Because Christmas can be like so heavy sometimes. Like it can be so stressful. So it's really nice to put the laughable ones on. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. 3.
Okay, let me see if I can. You like guessed in the first one. Let's see if I can make it harder. Okay. Let's see. This heartwarming holiday musical begins during World War II, where entertainers Bob Wallace and Phil Davis perform for the troops.
I know this one.
Years later, Bob and Phil travel to Vermont with sisters Betty and Judy Haynes, another musical act. The 4 arrive at an inn only to discover
White Christmas.
There you go. I'm glad I made you work for one. Yes.
Christmas.
White Christmas. Aw, it's so good. It's starring
with Bing Crosby.
That's
Bing
right.
Crosby and Danny Kaye.
Yes,
and Rosemary Clooney.
Rosemary Clooney.
And Vera Ellen.
Yep. So I have a sister who like I'm quite close to. We did musical theater as little kids. Well, she did mostly musical theater. I mostly played rock and roll, honestly, since I was like about 10. But musical movies were something we could kind of bond over. So I have a little bit of an attachment to that. Plus, like everybody just likes to watch White Christmas on Christmas because it has some holiday songs in it, some glitz in it,
and fabulous dance numbers.
Oh yeah, the dance numbers are everything.
You can't ignore those magical dance numbers. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean the film celebrates the joy and romance of Christmas. So it has a lot of festive visuals, and it's like about community and coming together, and it's in a very wholesome but like sassy way. And only movie from 1954 could be a musical movie from 1954. It's like wholesome sassiness. It's cute. It's good. I like it. Okay.
That's a super classic, and that's one that if anyone has not seen, you should definitely check out because it's just got the visuals are beautiful. The
Yes.
costumes are beautiful. The level of talent and the making of that film in the mid 50s was really at that height of like glamour in a sense for that time period. And they were so invested in like the sets and so invested in the costumes. I mean, it was really a golden age a little bit in Hollywood for those types of films. So yeah, I love that film. You should definitely,
That's
if you have
exactly
not
right.
seen it, you should totally watch it.
And it's
Um,
a good one to listen to the music from too. You can just like look up the soundtrack and hear sisters, sisters. You know what I mean?
yep. And doesn't that have the one Baby It's Cold Outside?
That's right.
Baby It's Cold Outside.
I really
Uh
not say.
da 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 da.
Okay, so whose
Yeah,
turn is it? Oh, it's mine.
mine.
Okay. What are we
No, it's
on? Number?
my turn. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah. Number
yeah.
3.
Okay.
Okay. It's an action comedy Christmas film.
Okay.
Main character, Santa Claus.
Is it Santa Claus?
Came out in 2022.
2022? Bad Santa Claus?
Nope.
Oh, keep going.
Santa, he's disillusioned, and suddenly he finds himself in the middle of a hostage situation.
I don't
You don't
know.
know the film, so I'll
No.
just tell you, baby.
Do it.
It's Violent Night.
That's right. I don't know that, and I still don't know.
And it stars David Harbour. If you are a fan of Stranger Things, he plays the sheriff or the chief of police in that film. He
Oh, I
is
love
married
him.
to Lily Allen. He's a really fun
What?
actor, and he plays Santa in this film. And this film it's violent, but it's also hilarious, like very funny. And it's called Violent Night. So basically, nobody really believes in Santa anymore. So Santa's pretty upset. Santa's hard drinking. He lands his sleigh at this house. He's like in the house, and suddenly this guy's like, "Hey, what are you doing in there?" And the next thing you know, Santa is all tied up in this hostage situation with this rich family is going through. So it's
Mhm.
very funny. And as the whole thing unfolds, he channels his centuries old magic and his surprising combat skills to take down mercenaries one by one, protecting the family and proving that even the jaded Santa can find renewed faith in the Christmas spirit. Violent Night
Oh.
blends over the top action, dark humor, and heartfelt moments, delivering a fresh, thrilling, and unconventional take on holiday films.
Sounds like this is one you watch after you put the kids to bed. Everyone's tucked in. You and
Oh
your
gosh,
you and
it's
your
very funny.
you
It's
and your
very funny.
partner are having some
Yep.
eggnog.
Yeah.
You're wrapping things up for the end of the
Yeah.
night, and you just decide to launch into some raunchy Christmas
Yeah.
activities.
Absolutely. All right, so now
Hilarious.
it's back to you. What's your
Okay.
number 2 Christmas film?
Okay, this is, I hope, really hard. It's a deep cut. I don't know.
Okay.
That's your first clue.
Die Hard.
Nope. I was wondering if that's what the last one was, but I couldn't think of it. I would have never guessed Violent Night.
Violent Night.
Hilarious. A play on Silent Night, if no one
Exactly.
picked that up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. This movie explores the origin story of Santa Claus, who begins as a kind-hearted wood carver in a small village. After a magical transformation, he becomes the legendary figure tasked with delivering toys to children around the world. This movie is from 1985, and it's starring Dudley Moore, John Lithgow,
Oh.
David Huddleston. You know what? I'm gonna tell you. Okay.
Tell me. I'm blanking on the title. Tell me.
This is the movie called Santa Claus, the movie. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why it's my favorite ever. John.
Oh, tell me.
Okay. Basically, like this movie starts and you think it's like gonna be like an old, like a period piece about like Saint Nicholas
Mhm.
in like his origin story and all this stuff. And it does start there. But it's about 10 minutes or maybe 20 minutes of film that talks about what I just talked about, which is that Santa Claus, it like explores him starting as a humble wood carver, and then all of a sudden like these elves, discover him in his village, and they say they need somebody to do the job of delivering the gifts to everybody, and he's the chosen one. So him and Mrs. Claus go to the North Pole, and they're fitted for their red outfits, and this is how they all become Santa Claus's fair gift.
Aw.
Then all of a sudden it jumps forward to modern times, which at the time was 1985. And
Yep.
there's John Lithgow playing this like very cartoonesque, a classic villain character who's like at the top of corporate America of a toy company. And they invent this toy, and basically John Lithgow convinces Dudley Moore, who plays Santa's like number one elf in the shop, to like he like corrupts him and gets him to come down to the US to work for his corporation. and then
Oh.
and then John Lithgow corrupts his toy making process by making it faster and more factory friendly. And all of a sudden, all the toys that are being delivered at Christmas, or the toys that their parents are buying them, are falling apart and become very dangerous. And so Santa Claus, with the help of this like little boy and little girl who he meets along the way, have to come stop the evil John Lithgow, who plays
Wow.
Easy. It's so good. It's highly, highly underrated and highly not talked about, because John Lithgow's a genius, Like he
Yeah.
plays, it's like him in Dexter. It's like he acts like that evil character he plays in Dexter, and he's so
Wow.
good. Like you got to watch it. Basically, like it's more magical realism, which a lot of these holiday movies are going to be, but like someone invents or the fallen elf who gets
Yes.
corrupted invents this um candy cane that makes kids float and fly,
Yeah.
and then they start to explode.
Ah! The
Not
kids
the
explode?
no, the candy cane. So he has to like
Oh.
stop everybody.
Ooh, I
He
was
has
like,
to like,
was
right?
this a part of Silent Night that
No,
or Violent
this
Night
we watch this every single Christmas,
year?
every single
Wow.
year. Yeah, because I just loved it so much. I don't know. I don't even know how we got on it, but it happened, and now we're committed.
Wow.
Okay, I think we spent
Okay,
enough
well,
time on
here's
that.
a
I'm clearly passionate about that one, so
so here's a segue though to my number two, because my family would watch this one every Christmas.
great.
Here's a clue. It's from 1954.
Mhm.
It stars Jimmy Stewart.
That's my number two. No,
You just did your number
I
two.
mean that's my number one.
Ah!
It's a Wonderful
It's a
Life.
Wonderful Life,
Oh
directed
man.
by Frank Capra. Timeless Christmas classic, tells the heartwarming story of George Bailey, played by Jimmy Stewart, a kind and selfless man who sacrifices his dreams to help others in his small town of Bedford Falls.
Oh.
One of the reasons why I love this movie, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, Jimmy Stewart, for whatever reason, always reminds me of my dad, maybe because they have like the same hairstyle.
Yeah,
And
that means your dad is hot, because Jimmy Stewart's hot. Do you have a hot
well,
dad, Erin?
let me say this. My friends from college, when they met my dad, were like, Erin, your dad's like a silver fox. I was like, what? What the hell's that?
That's funny.
He's tall. He has a full head of hair still. He's up there in age, but he's a handsome guy, takes care of himself, likes to be well dressed. So
Mm,
yeah, I guess he's handsome. I mean, look at me. I'm also very attractive. So come from
yeah.
attractive parents. It's usually how it works.
Okay. It's a Christmas miracle. Erin's confidence is through the roof. I'm just kidding. You're very good
Um,
looking.
yeah. One of the baseline messages in this film that I think are why it's people's top Christmas films, usually, if not the number one, the number two, for sure.
Yeah.
Is because it talks about the importance of small acts of kindness and how we don't know what those repercussions really will be in other people's lives.
Yeah.
And this story, it's Christmas Eve. George is having a hard time. He's going to be going home to his family and having what he feels like is going to be a really tough Christmas. And he's at a point where he's thinking about suicide. And a guy
Yeah.
meets him on the bridge and says, don't do that. And basically walks him back into his town. But now nobody knows who he is. And it's like he never existed. And he sees what life would be like if he didn't exist. And you get this perspective. He gets this perspective of like, oh my gosh, like I actually really do matter. And what I do matters. And what I've done for other people actually did matter. And like I did have a wonderful life and I did all these things that I didn't even realize helped people and changed
Yeah.
people's lives for the better. And I think that's like the beautiful message of recognizing that you might never get the validation for what you've done, but what you have done still affects any small act of kindness or help affects people on such bigger and deeper levels than you can ever imagine.
Totally. And there's another huge theme, which is that life doesn't always turn out the way that we want it to. We don't always get what
Yeah.
we thought we wanted. It's a story about how your dreams can change. And it's about reframing the
Yeah.
idea that what you want was the only thing that would be rewarding for you, or the only thing that you could be proud of. And honestly, it's really important because I think when you're younger, you have these big dreams and you really feel the need to see them through, and you feel like you can't give up, but everyone tells you your whole life, don't give up, don't give up. But really, the older you get, the more you start to see that like those dreams don't always look the same to you. The more you're able to reframe the
Yeah.
way you look at your accomplishments and your failures, and you realize that it's all goes together. You can only take the good with the bad. And
Absolutely.
like you said, you end up benefiting all the people around you in ways you never even noticed.
Absolutely.
And how wonderful life can be even when it's not so wonderful.
Yes. Yes.
It's an important
Yes.
lesson. And I will say, Nick and I watched this recently. We watched it like at not Christmas time, like maybe a couple
Yes.
months ago. Because he said he'd never seen it. And I was like, oh, well, I guess we have to watch it right away. I'm not waiting till Christmas because I'll forget that you haven't seen it. And he cried so hard. Sorry, Nick, but he did. He thought it was like the
Yeah.
most important story. And it's so timeless. Like this movie's made in 1954. And it's like they're talking about
1946.
whoa,
1946.
46. And
Yeah.
they're talking about suicide and all these very, very real, big dreams and,
Yeah.
pleasing your parents and not wanting to commit too early and all these like just these issues that never go away. So
Yeah.
it's
And
just
also
timeless.
when this film came out, we've talked about that other film when we were talking about Veterans Day, the best years of our lives.
Yes.
People returned from World War II very disillusioned, and they were expected to come in and kind of just pick their lives up where they had left them if they went to serve overseas. Jimmy Stewart had served in World War II. He had been overseas. And when he came back to pick back up his acting career, he wasn't sure if he could do it. And I think that's why, as an actor, when you see him in this role, and this is like after he's served, he has seen horrible stuff. And so he's coming at this with a lot of gravitas that previously, as an actor in earlier roles, if you've seen him in the Philadelphia Story, where he played opposite Katharine Hepburn, where he's lovely. He's a lovely actor, but like he was just younger and it was different. It's a different feeling. 1946, Jimmy Stewart is, he's really seen, I think, the darker side of life based on his own experiences in World War II. Yeah. And so when he's talking about, his brother, who in the film serves in the armed services and different aspects, and he's thinking about committing suicide, this is hard stuff. Like, a lot of people come back from serving and they're disoriented and they're disillusioned and they're suffering from depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, his character in this film wasn't someone who had served. He's just somebody who hadn't and had stayed home, but he's plagued with like the guilt of almost like a survivor guilt, which I think was really true for him potentially as a person. Right. So
yeah,
he's an incredible actor. It's an incredible film. Definitely one of the staples forever, I think, of top Christmas movie. Now, that was your number one.
That was my number one. So we just have to guess yours.
What is Erin's number one Christmas movie?
I can't think of any more Christmas movies right now. Miracle on 34th Street.
You want to take a second to just think? Take a blind guess.
I guessed Miracle on 34th Street. No. Santa Claus starring Tim Allen.
No.
Bad
It's
Santa Claus.
It's a Steven Spielberg film. It was produced by Steven Spielberg.
E.T. I can't think of any.
It's a dark comedy.
A dark comedy.
A dark comedy horror.
Horror about Christmas? No idea.
Gremlins!
Oh!
Gremlins!
Is that a Christmas movie?
Oh, yeah, because
we
dad
Erin
buys the gift and the guy says, I'm not going to sell this to you. And then the grandson brings the little gift out to the guy and he brings it to his son. He goes, here you go.
I gotta rewatch Gremlins.
Gremlins.
Those little nuggets were so cute. Those little furry nuggets rolling around.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So Gremlins is about a father who gives his son a mogwai for Christmas.
And what's a mogwai?
Right before Christmas. A mogwai is this adorable little creature. He's fluffy. The kid names his Gizmo. Gizmo can't see bright lights. You can never get him wet, and you should never feed him after midnight. And you know what happens? All of those things. And you know what else happens? The whole town goes insane.
Oh, no.
And it is just to me, and seeing this as a kid, it completely blew my mind. I thought it was the funniest and scariest thing. I think I was just like enchanted and horrified. My siblings and I love this movie. Love this movie. This is a low budget movie that I think they made, and they were just like, whatever, we've got mistakes, but just keep going. We're on a timeline with our film. We just got to finish it. And there's the moment where, here's my favorite scenes. The mom comes downstairs. A bunch of gremlins have appeared. So a mogwai, if it gets wet, and if it gets wet, it multiplies and more of them will become. If they eat after midnight, they change from mogwais into gremlins.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
Once it's a gremlin, they're not cute and furry. They're like scaly and they've got sharp teeth and like mean looking.
Yeah.
And so the mom comes downstairs. At one point, she had been making cookies. And she thinks like somebody's in the house. She hears somebody and she gets attacked by the Christmas tree because the Christmas tree has all this gremlins in it. And then she's in the kitchen and she's like killing the gremlins and beating them up. And at one point she knocks one of them into the blender and gets him all like blended. Another one, she blows up in a microwave. This film is just insane.
I'm just
There's-
imagining the clip I'm gonna make for the social media of you talking about all these scenes and gremlins for our Christmas episode.
It's the best. It is the best. It is the best Christmas movie. And really the I feel like the big theme of Gremlins is like, follow the rules, guys. Maybe people are telling you don't do something for a reason. And when you ignore them, big trouble happens. Like your whole town gets taken over by these crazy little creatures who then, you know, take over a movie theater and all want to watch Snow White because that's their favorite movie. And they're all singing along, or they're at the bar and they're like holding onto the ceiling fan going around and around and around.
Oh,
I mean,
that is a really famous scene,
so
the ceiling fan.
funny.
I also love that was your number one and not It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Let's see. What are a few other Christmas movies that we like haven't talked about even in our game? Let's see. We've got A Christmas Carol.
A Christmas Carol. Die Hard, another Christmas movie.
Right. The Love Actually, such a good one. That almost should have made my list.
I hate that movie. I was oh my God. I was actually hoping that was going to be on your list so we could fight about it. I think that movie is horrible.
Let's fight more.
Maybe the only person on earth who doesn't like Love Actually.
Why? Because of the porn part?
No, that's not even the part that bothers me. The part that bothers me is that it's like 4 films inside of one, and like you never really care, and it's all just like tropes. It's like, what? And I mean, I could go on and on about why I dislike that movie so much. It's just like, let's throw a bunch of stars in one movie. It's like, then they thought, oh, this did great. So then they made that movie Valentine's Day, similar concept, where they're like, let's have a bunch of stars with different
stories. I don't know that one. I don't remember seeing that
came out shortly after. No. Love Actually, big skip. Don't like it at all.
Whatever. I disagree. Bake some cookies to it. Bake a cake. All right.
I'd rather watch Die Hard, or I'd rather watch Jingle All the Way, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Erin, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh my gosh. Nightmare Before Christmas is one of the best films ever made. That should have been on my list.
Wait, let's just listen to a few more of these. A Charlie Brown Christmas.
It's fine.
It's fine. Bad Santa was on one of these lists. The Holiday. Why does everyone want to act like that's like the most Christmassy movie of all time? I'm like, that's really just a rom-com. That to me is a skipperoo. Let's see. I don't think Gremlins was definitely on here. Yeah. Scrooge was on here. You know what? All the ones you picked are on the Christmas with a twist list.
Of course they are.
I don't know. I don't know a lot of these other ones. While You Were Sleeping. I know that one, but I don't really remember it being about Christmas.
How about Terrifier 3?
I was going to Christmas movie. That. Shout out to Olga. What up, Olga? That's true. Well, that's all that seems important to talk about. So I just want you to have a really nice Christmas, Erin, and a really nice holiday, and happy Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. And hoodly hoo to all of you who don't celebrate Christmas.
Yes. Yes. Hoodly hoo to all of you.
Yeah.
No matter what you celebrate, and have a wonderful start to the new year. We will be back after the beginning of the new year, because it just happens to land that way, I think, right? I'm pretty sure.
I think so. And I would just like to say that we tried to keep this episode fun and light, except for when we dipped into suicide there for a moment. You shouldn't laugh. You have to laugh about the hard stuff.
You know.
But that was a fun game, Erin. That was all you. I loved that idea. That was a good job. So I hope you enjoyed our unconventional Christmas podcast.
Yes. Thank you so much for all of the support that you have given us. as we have started the podcast the past few months. We would not be able to do this without your support. So please follow us on iTunes, Spotify. We're on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and many other places where you listen to podcasts. So if you haven't yet, please give us a 5-star review.
That's right. And please follow us on Instagram, Video and Vinyl Club, TikTok, and YouTube, where you can view the whole episodes and see what we look like when we talk about all these movies. You know, sometimes it's a good day and sometimes it's a bad day for our looks, but we always have juicy conversations.
Oh, juiciest.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everyone. Bye.
Bye.
1, 2.